We're about 20 days out from the New South Wales state election, and we've had a lot promised, and rightly so, on regional roads. The Labor opposition spokesperson is Shadow Minister for Regional Road and Transport, Jenny Aitchison. Jenny, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much. It's great to be talking to you.
We know that the Coalition have said they've got about $1 billion on the table for regional roads. You've tried to better that. I think it's, $1.1 billion?
Yeah, and that's just on those new roads, Ricky, and that's across the state. And we've actually got just an announcement today of another $670 million fund, the Emergency Road Repair Fund. So that's going to be an additional investment of $388 million, and that will be really contained to looking after the regional road repairs, so the repairs to the local roads in our regions that people use every day.
Well, I think the Coalition have pledged $1 billion, though. You're talking about, $670 million for an emergency road repair fund, but then we get to around $1 billion with this additional $390 million.
Yeah. So it's probably, yes, there's a lot of money going around, so it's probably pretty confusing for people actually. But yesterday we announced new roads, and today it's around repairing those roads that people use every day.
Yeah, so I note you're talking about this pothole fund. So there's already a, $280 million pothole program. You're going to throw extra money into that?
Yeah, so we're going to more than double that. It's $388 million. So that is going to help councils right now with the struggle they've got trying to fix the roads after all the flooding, but also after 12 years of neglect by the government.
And so I guess, how does this compare with what the Coalition's pledging? They're talking about $1 billion for regional roads, and some of that is for road repair. But is this largely about repairing existing roads? Are you pledging any new roads or upgrades in regional New South Wales?
Yeah, so we are. So our regional roads capital fund will be providing quite a lot of money really into regional areas. We've got about $330 million going into those roads. So we've got roads in Bega, in Goulburn, we've got Kiama, the Monero, Port Stephens, right across the state, really going hard to try and catch up with a lot of that flooding. The North Coast, of course, is a special area of focus. They've had some terrible flooding out there. But we've got some new roads that will also be providing networks and links.
And when it comes to this concept, you and I have talked about, and we've spoken with the government about this as well, about betterment, about building roads back better so they don't flood out. The Regional Roads Minister, Sam Faraway, said he hoped Labor Prime Minister Anthony Albanese might match some funding pledges being made during this election. Is there an opportunity with a state Labor government you might be able to get some federal funding also to help out?
Look, we'll certainly be having a conversation with federal government about that. We know that there are a lot of projects that they've already kicked in a lot of money for that will make massive difference to points along our road network. And I know the Minister is talking about those all the time. So I'm sure that under a federal Labor government, if we have a New South Wales government that's Labor, we will be going very well on that.
And just there's some complexity here about local councils and which roads they're managing and whether they should be managing them or not. What are you proposing to do in terms of, I guess, getting roads that councils want to give back to the state, back in state hands?
Yeah, so the government's made a signature promise in 2019 that they were going to reclassify and transfer a whole lot of regional roads back to the state government. To date, they can't tell us any that they've actually transferred. We've been asking them about this for 3 years. What we're seeing is that, the government has failed in its 2019 election promise to lift the burden on councils. What Labor is going to do is put more money straight away into the hands of councils so they can fix the worst roads right now. That will make a difference to the local roads that people drive on every day. We're going to really shift the focus away from these big mega projects that take years and years and years to deliver and push and prioritise really those local roads that are struggling under the current regime. And what we're seeing is that people are telling us it's a cost of living issue. People are talking about the rims on their cars being broken. One council in New South Wales has been putting up their rates 86% to try and keep up with the backlog. So while the government keeps talking about regional roads at reclassification and transfer and, basically changing the ownership of the roads, Labor's actually going to get in there and fix them because that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, I noticed the government is out in the last 24 hours complaining that they say Labor is scrapping or not going to match the pledge on the Great Western Highway, which is one of the major ways into Sydney. Is that one of those sort of high-profile projects that you might not proceed with and focus on local road improvement?
Labor is actually not scrapping projects. What we're doing is we're just putting a pause on that one. We know that that is a project that is being delayed with funding at the moment because the government has failed to put out the business case. They've got essentially an uncosted road project that we know is going to be a real problem. So what we're saying is let's slow that down. We're not in government. We can't see the business cases that they've kept secret on this. We want to make sure that we have all the information, and the priority at the moment is that the roads that people are using are falling apart and we want to fix them.
Well, a very good sentiment. I think all our listeners in southern New South Wales would definitely agree with that. Jenny Aitchison is the Shadow Regional Roads Minister. Could be the Minister in 20-odd days. We'll find out very soon. Thanks for joining us today on Flow.
Thanks so much, Ricky. Have a great day.